The golden age of Hollywood was marked not only by cinematic brilliance but also by scandalous affairs that disrupted marriages and careers. Here's a look at 17 such affairs that left indelible marks on Tinseltown. In 1950, acclaimed Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman began a controversial affair with Italian director Roberto Rossellini while filming Stromboli. At the time, both were married to other people, Bergman to neurosurgeon Petter Lindström, and Rossellini to Marcella de Marchis. Their highly publicized romance shocked audiences and sparked outrage, especially in conservative circles. The backlash was so severe that Bergman was publicly condemned on the floor of the U.S. Senate, with one senator calling her a powerful influence for evil. She became a pariah in Hollywood and was essentially blacklisted, forcing her to work in Europe. Bergman and Rossellini eventually married in 1950 and had 3 children, including actress Isabella Rossellini. Despite the initial scandal, Bergman later reclaimed her career with a triumphant return to Hollywood, even winning an Academy Award for Anastasia in 1956. The affair remains one of the most dramatic and career-altering romances of Hollywood's golden age, emblematic of the era's strict moral expectations and the heavy cost of defying them. Elizabeth Taylor found comfort in close friend Eddie Fischer, who was then married to America's sweetheart, actress Debbie Reynolds. What began as emotional support quickly turned into a full-blown affair, igniting one of the most scandalous love triangles of Hollywood's golden age. The betrayal shocked the public, especially since Reynolds and Taylor had been friends. Tabloids exploded with coverage, and fans were outraged. Fischer eventually divorced Reynolds and married Taylor in 1959, just a year after Todd's death. The backlash was immediate and intense. Fischer's wholesome image was shattered, his music career suffered, and Taylor was labeled a homewrecker. The scandal also fractured relationships within Hollywood's elite circles. Although Taylor and Fischer's marriage was short-lived, they divorced in 1964, the affair left lasting damage to their public reputations. Debbie Reynolds later forgave both, and even joked about it in later interviews, but at the time, this affair marked one of the most shocking and talked about betrayals in Hollywood history. While filming Cleopatra in 1962, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton began an affair that would become one of the most infamous and passionate romances in Hollywood history. At the time, both were married, Taylor to singer Eddie Fischer, and Burton to actress Sybil Williams. Their intense on-set chemistry quickly turned into a real-life scandal that captivated the world. Paparazzi relentlessly followed them, and their affair made international headlines, drawing condemnation from the Vatican, which called their relationship erotic vagrancy. The scandal rocked the entertainment industry, and both stars faced intense scrutiny. In 1964, after finalizing their divorces, Taylor and Burton married in what was dubbed the marriage of the century. Their union was filled with glamour, volatile arguments, and lavish spending, making them constant tabloid fixtures. They divorced in 1974, remarried in 1975, and divorced again less than a year later. Despite the drama, their connection remained undeniable. Their affair not only broke up 2 marriages but also set a new standard for celebrity obsession, redefining the power and pitfalls of fame during Hollywood's golden age. Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner's relationship was one of the most passionate, and volatile, love affairs of Hollywood's golden age. When they began dating in the late 1940s, Sinatra was still married to his first wife, Nancy Barbato. His affair with Gardner, already a rising star, sparked a media frenzy and caused a major scandal. Under intense public pressure and scrutiny, Sinatra divorced Nancy in 1951 and married Gardner the same year. However, their marriage was far from peaceful. Both were fiery personalities with demanding careers, and their union was marked by constant fighting, jealousy, and reports of mutual infidelity. The couple frequently made headlines for their explosive arguments and glamorous reconciliations. Despite their deep affection for each other, the relationship was simply too unstable to last. They separated in 1953 and officially divorced in 1957. The emotional toll on Sinatra was immense. He reportedly never got over Gardner, calling her the love of his life. Their doomed romance remains one of classic Hollywood's most dramatic stories of love, heartbreak, and the heavy price of fame. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall's love story began on the set of To Have and Have Not in 1944. At the time, Bogart was married to actress Mayo Method, but their relationship was famously turbulent, marked by alcohol-fueled fights and emotional instability. Bacall, just 19 and a newcomer to Hollywood, captivated the 44-year-old Bogart with her poise and deep voice. Their on-screen chemistry quickly turned into a real-life affair, despite the controversy surrounding their age difference and Bogart's marital status. The affair caused tension in Bogart's already fragile marriage, and after much personal turmoil, he filed for divorce from Method. In 1945, Bogart married Bacall in a quiet ceremony. And their relationship became one of Hollywood's most iconic love stories. The two shared a deep bond, working together on several films and raising 2 children. Though the affair ended Bogart's third marriage, his union with Bacall endured until his death in 1957. Their romance, born in scandal, became a symbol of enduring love in the golden age of Hollywood and remains one of its most legendary partnerships. Rita Hayworth and Glenn Ford's affair was one of the most enduring and complex romances of Hollywood's golden age. It began in 1945 during the filming of the classic film Gilda, where their on-screen chemistry sparked a passionate off-screen relationship. At the time, both were involved with other people. Hayworth was married to director Orson Welles, and Ford had his own complicated romantic history. Despite never marrying each other, their affair lasted for decades, marked by periods of intense closeness and painful distance. They reportedly remained emotionally attached long after their initial romance faded, and even when involved with others, they frequently returned to each other. Ford was known for having multiple affairs, which added to the complications and emotional strain of their bond. Hayworth, dealing with personal struggles and failed marriages, often found solace in her connection with Ford. Though their love story never led to marriage, it remained a defining part of both their lives. Their complicated, lifelong relationship was a quiet constant amid the chaos of fame, illustrating how deep emotional ties can persist, even without a traditional happy ending. June Allison, known for her wholesome, girl-next-door image, reportedly had an affair with actor Alan Ladd, one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men. At the time, Allison was married to actor-director Dick Powell, and the affair came as a shock to fans who saw her as the embodiment of domestic virtue. Ladd, also married, was struggling with personal demons, including chronic depression and substance abuse. The affair between the two stars was discreet but created emotional turmoil behind the scenes. For Allison, the relationship reportedly contributed to a period of deep personal instability. Her marriage to Powell, already strained by professional pressures and personal issues, began to unravel, though the couple ultimately remained together until Powell's death in 1963. The scandal was never publicly confirmed during their lifetimes, but those close to the stars later spoke of its emotional impact. The affair marked a darker chapter in Allison's life, contrasting sharply with her public persona. It serves as a reminder of the private struggles hidden behind Hollywood's polished facade during its glamorous golden age. Clark Gable and Carole Lombard's romance began as an affair that ended Gable's marriage to his first wife, Josephine Dillon. Gable, already a major Hollywood star, met Lombard on the set of No Man of Her Own in 1932. At the time, both were married to other people, Gable to Dillon and Lombard to actor William Powell. Their chemistry simmered for years before blossoming into a full-fledged romance in the mid-1930s. Gable's affair with Lombard was an open secret in Hollywood, and after a lengthy and expensive divorce from Dillon, partly delayed due to studio image concerns, they finally married in 1939. Their relationship was famously devoted and down-to-earth, a rare blend of glamour and genuine affection. Tragically, their time together was cut short when Lombard died in a plane crash in 1942 while returning from a war bond tour. Gable was devastated and never fully recovered emotionally. He later joined the U.S. Army Air Forces in her honor. Their love story, though rooted in scandal, became one of Hollywood's most touching tales of love and loss. Glenn Ford and Rita Hayworth's long-term affair began in 1945 during the filming of the classic film Gilda, where their undeniable on-screen chemistry spilled into real life. At the time, both stars were involved with other people. Hworth was recently divorced from Orson Welles, and Ford was married to dancer Eleanor Powell. Despite never marrying each other, Ford and Hworth maintained a romantic connection that lasted, on and off, for decades. Their relationship was complicated by Ford's many affairs and personal struggles, as well as Hworth's difficult experiences with love, trust, and alcoholism. Though they kept their romance largely out of the public eye, those close to them noted the deep emotional bond they shared. Ford reportedly kept a photograph of Hworth in his wallet until the end of his life, and Hworth often turned to him during turbulent times. While their relationship was never formalized, it remained one of the most enduring and quietly poignant affairs in Hollywood history, a behind-the-scenes love story marked by loyalty, heartbreak, and lasting affection in the golden age of cinema. Maureen O'Hara, known for her fiery red hair and wholesome, strong-willed screen presence, found herself at the center of a scandal that rocked her career and personal life. Confidential magazine, notorious for exposing Hollywood secrets, published an explosive story claiming O'Hara had been caught necking with a man in the balcony of Grauman's Chinese theater. The article implied lewd conduct in a public space, directly clashing with O'Hara's cultivated image as a dignified and morally upright woman. Outraged, O'Hara filed a lawsuit against the magazine, calling the claims false and defamatory. She asserted that not only was the story untrue, but she hadn't even been in Los Angeles at the time of the alleged incident. Her bold legal move was unusual for the time. Most stars feared taking on gossip publications, but O'Hara won her case, helping to expose Confidential's underhanded tactics. Still, the scandal left a blemish on her otherwise clean public image. The incident is remembered as one of the early battles in Hollywood's fight for celebrity privacy and reputation against sensationalist media. Marina Dietrich reportedly began a discreet affair with rising star John Wayne. At the time, Dietrich was already an established Hollywood icon, known for her sultry screen presence and high-profile romances. Wayne, on the other hand, was still climbing toward superstardom. Though both were married, Dietrich estranged from her husband and Wayne married to his first wife, Josephine Alicia Saenz, their chemistry on set was unmistakable. The rumored affair remained largely hidden from the public eye, but those close to the production claimed their connection was immediate and intense. Dietrich later referred to Wayne as one of the great loves of her life, and their bond reportedly continued for years, rekindling briefly during later projects. Despite never publicly acknowledging the relationship, the rumors persisted throughout their careers. The affair, though never officially confirmed, added a layer of intrigue to both stars' legacies. It highlighted the tension between private passions and public personas in Hollywood's golden age, where even the most powerful stars were bound by the era's strict moral expectations. Joan Crawford and Clark Gable. Both were major stars under MGM's banner and were married at the time, Crawford to actor Franket Tone and Gable to socialite Rhea Langham. Their on-screen chemistry was electric, fueling gossip that their relationship had extended beyond the cameras. Though never publicly confirmed, their closeness was well known in Hollywood circles, and many believed they were deeply involved romantically for years. Louis B. Mayer, head of MGM, was said to have intervened at times to protect the studio's image, keeping the affair quiet while still capitalizing on their magnetic pairing in films. Crawford and Gable remained lifelong friends, and Crawford later admitted that Gable was one of the great loves of her life. While their alleged affair didn't officially end either of their marriages, it added to the perception of Hollywood as a place where real-life drama rivaled anything seen on screen. Their rumored relationship remains one of classic cinema's most intriguing behind-the-scenes romances. Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor were one of Hollywood's most glamorous couples, married from 1939 to 1951. While their union was admired publicly, behind closed doors it was reportedly troubled and complex. Both stars were highly successful and fiercely independent, which created tension in their marriage. Rumors of extramarital affairs followed them throughout their relationship. Taylor was said to have engaged in several on-set romances, while Stanwyck was often described as emotionally distant and highly focused on her career. Their contrasting personalities and demanding schedules only deepened the strain. Though they maintained a united front for years, insiders claimed their marriage was more of a studio-managed partnership than a passionate romance. The final blow came when Taylor asked for a divorce in 1951, reportedly tired of living in a relationship that had become increasingly distant. Despite the separation, the two remained on good terms, and Stanwick never remarried. Their marriage, and its unraveling, highlighted the pressures fame placed on personal relationships during Hollywood's golden age, where maintaining a public image often took precedence over private happiness.